many people I interviewed pointed out, and as you said earlier too, lack of talent as one of the main reasons why it's hard to recruit. And I know that's one of the major reasons, but and you had pointed out, you don't think that's the only reason. You think there are a lot of places where the company started recruiting at a disadvantaged position because they didn't actually have the right information to go to market, that is, for this role. So can you talk through a little bit about the reasons that made recruiting difficult outside of the lack of talent?
Sure, absolutely. So base salary is the top thing I see. And so we don't have any real-time data in the marketplace. Our data, as I think you found, is a couple of years old that anybody has access to. And what I can tell you is it changes monthly, never mind yearly. And so we do know that statistically cyber is paid 15% more than IT. And Chenxi, I think this is the number one problem.
15% more?
15% more than IT. And I think this is the number one problem. In fact, a client just said it to me the other day, and I thought, I hear this so often, which is, how do I justify paying that person more than my IT folks, and because this is how they're seen. And I don't blame them, because those IT people are just as important, meaning like you can't say that any one person is necessarily more important.
Sure. But if the market demands a rate, that's the market demands a rate, right? A company cannot fight the market.
They don't like it. And you know what? A lot of the leaders come from IT. So it's almost insulting to them, right? I mean, when they speak in full transparency, they're a little insulted. And that's where, yes, I come in and we're saying things like, there's so many things that I don't like in my daily life about what I have to pay for. In fact, I just bought a place in Boston, and if I would have bought it 3 years ago, it makes me crazy to think, right? And I don't want to I don't want to do that. However, I have to pay it, and that is the challenge. People are really struggling with the IT comparison.
So where do you think, given that the data suggests that the IT salary, the security salaries are 15% higher than general IT on average, that is, if I'm a hiring manager, right? Where do I go? Is there a canonical source in the industry that I can go say, here's how I'm going to set a cybersecurity jobs base salary as opposed to an IT job base salary? Is there such a resource that I can use?
There is not. There is not. We are close to releasing one, which is, I'm calling it a real-time salary guide. So every time a candidate, job seeker comes into our system, it updates. And every time we place a candidate, it updates. And then we'll be asking candidates to update their profile every 3 months. And basically that means by city, by title, by city, the salary. So, I want to offer that, because the challenge with big corporations is they do need the data. The smaller corporations, they can hear us say it, listen to us, and make action. But the bigger corporations, they need the data to put in front of HR. They need the data to put in front of people. So I want them to have that data. That being said, here's what I tell everybody. The advantage of working with an agency like us is that we're going to show you 5 people within 2 weeks that are perfect for your job. So see what their total compensation is, understand what's going on in the marketplace by, interviewing the people that are qualified and interested in your job, understand total compensation, and then do whatever you have to do, whatever that is. If you're looking at total compensation, there may be other ways. I have clients getting very creative with other things. However, most of them are having to raise their salary cap, and they see it by really interviewing the person. Don't look at the resume and see their comp, interview the person and get an understanding of the marketplace. And then you can decide, and now you have 2 people that can do your job. Are you willing to make a change? So So that's more, in the here and the now versus the planning. I mean, certainly we can tell people what the salaries are anytime, any day,
So, but there are some, information out there people go for, right? So in the interview I did, several of them say we use Radford salary guide, and there's also Glassdoor has roles and the average salary in this company for this role, and there's another company, Pesa, also has some of this information. Do you think those information either is not accurate or people not using them, or
I think that they lump cyber into tech. I don't think that they really have cyber detailed. Maybe it's changed. I hope it has. If it has, that's great. But I think that you'll find in almost all studies, even job posting sites don't have cyber as a drop down. I mean, you'd be shocked to look at Monster and Indeed and see. So I think it's coupled. Even our studies in the Bureau of Statistics, it's cyber falls under IT still. It's not separated. So I think that's what it is. I haven't done the research in a long time. You would certainly know better since you did that. I hope there's things that help.
Yeah, I think the places like Glassdoor, there are some difficulties in the data. The reason that if you are a normal company, right? If you are, say, a back office operations company, and your IT team's like 5 people, right? And there's like 2 or maybe even 1 that's in charge of security, right? And if somebody goes to the Glassdoor and put in a role says IT security manager, and the salary is within this range for this company, then the HR people immediately know it's that person, right? So because of that reasons, people kind of tend to shy away from sharing specific informations, and that's very, very, very difficult to solve as a problem, even though they gave anonymous information, right? Yeah. So I think you at some level can solve that problem because you have lots of data across different companies, and so you can publish that. And so I think some of the online platform has that difficulty. But so let's talk about another one statistic that's really astounding to me is nearly 80% of positions the companies recruiting, they started with a salary cap that is lower than what the true market rate is. 80% of the positions, right? So then that is, if predominantly they start lower, then why don't they just say, okay, I know that I typically start lower. Can I just start higher next time? Or why don't they just do that?
I know. It's maddening. That was what I was talking about with the difference between a big company and a small company, because in big companies, you can't. I mean, very few can do it.
Because the salary band is demanded by the general sort of HR, right? Is that?
Yes, it's a compliance, right? You got to go through massive approvals. I mean, I'm working with a client right now, the big company, and my hiring manager is like has to go edit, categories and move things. And that's after months of getting permission.
But how do they? I mean, but on the other hand, nearly 100% said they often have to raise salary cap to hire a cybersecurity position, right? So, but they end up having to raise it anyway.
I tell you, it's the definition of insanity, Chenxi. I wish there was some reason that I could say to you, it is the most mind-blowing thing. I think that, look, I mean, politics in companies is massive. And depending on the relationship between the hiring manager, human resources, CEO, VPs, whatever, executive level, it's very difficult to maneuver around. And again, there's this notion of why are you people making more money than IT? It's still a challenge. So it's a definition of insanity, so much so that I'm doing this to say, that's what I said in the beginning. I want to take this pain away. We see it time and time and client over and over. And so the only thing I can say in my mind is, if these larger organizations that have so much compliance and sort of, rules that they have to file, have the data, real-time data from a great source that says this is what's happening now, not, right now, then I think that's going to be the quickest way to help them, which is why I've been, making sure that we have the research done and so forth to really help.